We will have an area for discussion afterwards. So mostly we're just going to walk through this. Keep any notes or mental notes or physical notes if you want to discuss anything, because it's all up for discussion, because we want to help you guys out. But this is a very basic guide on how to therapy, because sometimes the Sad Boy Spotify playlist just don't cut it. And that's okay. Here's the basics. So what is therapy? What is it for? Therapy is a professional way to help guide you through your life issues, find strategies and habits that leave you mentally healthier, and give you a healthy outlet for your emotions. Therapists can also find and point out your bad habits that you might not notice, mental and physical, and help you work on them. Therapists are there for you to help. So it's important to, when you get a therapist, realize that this therapist, it's not like one and done. You can shop around for a therapist. You should shop around for a therapist and get one that actually works with you. So not every therapist is right for you. Some of them are underqualified, or they hold beliefs that don't work for you. Like for me, I need my therapist to make sure that one, that they know and respect what trans people are for me to talk to them. Not all therapists do. So that's something important to sort of find out about. So please seek out a new therapist if yours isn't working. Even if you have gone like several sessions with this therapist, even if you've been like with months with this one therapist and you realize it's not working, go find a new one. Tell your therapist what you want. Some people, for someone who's straightforward, you might need someone who's very gentle. For me, I prefer very straightforward therapists. People who are very gentle with their words frustrate me during therapy. But for other people, that works a lot better for them. Take some time to consider what you need. Therapy isn't right for everyone, or always right. Okay, what should I expect and not expect from therapy? You should expect to talk about your life and your emotions. You should expect to get tools to be able to understand, manage, and help your emotions and mental well-being, ideas and plans of how to help yourself grow, and you should expect to put in effort on your end to also help yourself. Do not expect to have everything fixed in one session or even a month of sessions. It's a slow growth process. Therapy takes time, it's not magic, and you only gain from therapy what you put in. So I know a lot of people, they sort of, they hear about therapy all the time, and they sort of expect that when they go to therapy, that they're just gonna get better. And that's not necessarily true. It's ways to give yourself tools and ways to give yourself the ability to get better. And it takes a while, and takes you doing the work, and takes you doing the work for a long period of time to actually start seeing the results of that work. So this is important. Here are your privacy rights for your therapist. Legally, your therapist cannot say anything that happens in your sessions. This is protected under federal law. They will completely lose their license if they do this. But they can say something if you have a plan to harm yourself or others. If there's really good reason to believe that one of those things is going to happen, then they have to tell someone. Other than that, whatever you say between you and your therapist is between the two of you. They cannot call your parents. What? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't want anyone to be afraid to talk about suicidal ideation with their therapist. But yeah, it's that if you talk about having a plan, that's when they're going to institutionalize you or take other action. But yeah.
Oh, real quick. Sorry, Tabby added this in chat, and I think it's necessary just to add in reference to the privacy rights. If they hear about someone abusing a child or a disabled person in your sessions, they do have to report that as well.
I forgot about that. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, I was wondering about, because therapists, if I remember correctly, are mandated reporters.
How they are mandated reporters is a little different. I went through training for this.
Okay, yeah, if you could elaborate on that, I appreciate
So, for a mandated reporter, by the way, is something in the university where if you tell pretty much any university staff about a sexual assault that happened to you, or sometimes just about someone you know, they have to report that it happened and report whatever information they have to the Title IX office, who then deals with it. The one exception to that is the counseling center. The only thing they report there is numbers. So they'll report how many times they got a mention of this in their therapy sessions, but they do not actually file out any of the Title IX paperwork at there. So that's your fun fact. But if you ever talk to like an RA or a professor or pretty much any other staff, they do have to report it to Title IX. Fun fact from an ex-RA. Anyway, other than those things, they cannot call your parents or professors and talk to things about things you said. If you're over 18, which I think all of you are, you're an adult and you have your legal rights protected. I will also say you can talk about illegal things with your therapist. My therapist even was like, I was talking about my issues with identity, and my therapist was like, "Have you tried weed about that?" And I was like, "Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, this is therapy." So you're going to therapy. What do you need to prep? So it is good to either while you're just sitting down or maybe you're just like on the bus, just reflect on what is bothering you. If you can write a list of events and other things that you want to talk about, that's a very good idea. I always do that when I'm going into my therapy sessions. I write down beforehand, these are the things that have been on my mind. These are the things I'd like to talk about, so that I don't forget when I'm there. And so I get the full use out of that therapy session as much as I can. Especially if you can keep it over the week or 2 weeks or however long you have in between your sessions. Keep an ongoing list so you know what happened on the bad days. And so maybe you're having a very good day on the day that you're having therapy, but you had a really bad day like 2 days ago. Write down what happened that day, what was on your mind that day, so that you can still have the information from that on your therapy day that might be the good day. Make sure to be calm and come in with an open mind. You should consider at the very least everything that your therapist says to you. Like, don't immediately dismiss everything. Think about it. Even if you decide not to use their advice or not follow their things, they are professionals mostly, and consider what they have to say. Or again, another reminder, the first session is not only for your therapist getting to know you, but for you to know your therapist as well, which is an important thing, that you guys feel comfortable around each other and you understand each other a little bit. Ask your therapist questions. Even if it's questions about like, hey, what do you think is like a good idea for this? Or what do you believe in doing about this? The therapist is there for you to ask questions for them. And you should be, again, as I mentioned earlier, skeptical of them at the very first. Okay, this one I especially want to talk. I'm going to do a little discussion here at the end, but let's talk about how to remain engaged during therapy, especially when it's online. I get that it's kind of hard to stay there in the moment. One thing that I do to help stay engaged is I take notes. You can also reflect and ask your therapist to re-explain things if you didn't fully get what they said the first time. Take notes of their suggestions. If you don't understand, ask them about it. Talk to them. They're being paid to listen to you talk. So do not feel afraid or bad about talking a lot or really just going off at them, because that's what they're there for. And if you need that, you need that. Anyone else have any tips for what they do to stay engaged during their therapy?
I like to actively listen. And so my therapist is really good about making sure to clarify and kind of double down on making sure I understand where she's coming from, especially because she does EMDR, and it's kind of tricky. And so it's just, I think you also got to kind of make an effort to listen at the very least.
Yeah, I definitely think that's true. Yeah, I
I
just try to stay actively engaged.
I think that an important thing that you need to remember is that this is a comfortable, safe space for you, and so you can do things like uh, fidget. You can do things. You can stim. You can rock. You can move around. You can wave your arms in front of your face. You can do all sorts of movement, and they won't judge you. Legitimately, I've had full therapy sessions where my face is down inside of the couch, and I'm curled up in like a caterpillar position, and they do not care. They do not care, and they will talk to you like you're sitting there with your hands in your lap. So that is a good thing to remember, because you need to be at your most comfortable whenever you're being as vulnerable as you need to be in therapy.
That's a really good note, David. Thank you.
You can cry all you need. I cry through all my therapy sessions.
Yeah, I would like to mention as like a extra thing, as David and I think that was JB saying that.
It was Jamie. I can confirm as a Jamie expert.
These therapists are used to dealing, hopefully, with people with your issues, and they have seen everything. So, and again, they can't tell anyone outside of your little meeting anything that happened. So don't feel shy about doing whatever you need to do. Yes, they've seen people cry over and over and over, so feel free. Feel free to cry in front of them. They're used to it. Normally they have, if you're in person, they have tissues in their office for you, because this happens so often. So feel completely free and fine to, be as comfortable as you can and by whatever standards you need. They want you to be comfortable. Okay, we can come back and talk about this later if you guys have any things or extra notes you want to talk about at the end of this, but we'll move on for now. So, therapy homework. Not all therapists do this, but a good amount of them do. They'll give you homework, or they might just suggest habits to try. Do the homework. Please do it. They're normally not going to give you more than you can do. And this stuff, they're giving it to you for a reason, and it's because it helps, and because it's helped other people, and because it'll hopefully help you. Don't push yourself too hard, but do try to put effort into their suggestions. My therapist all the time gives me like, hey, how about you try out these habits? And I'm like, those are great ideas. And maybe I don't do all of them, but I pick like 1 or 2 things to add into my routine, or at least try really hard to add into my routine every week. Take some notes on what works and what doesn't. If you're like, this worked great, going on the walks all week has made my mood much better. Or you may be like, this did nothing. I hated this, but like, take some notes so that you have something to talk about when you're in your next therapy session. If you have habits, or if you need like time to set aside to do the homework, set yourself some phone reminders, calendar reminders, sticky notes, whatever works for you. Make sure to give yourself reminders to actually do those things. David?
Hello. So next thing we want to talk about is where you can find therapy. This is something you can scan that QR code if you'd like. We have a little link tree set up so that you can find all of these links pretty quickly, so you don't have to go like searching on Google for them. But one of the best resources as a college student that you have available to you right now is the Counseling Center. They offer, I believe it's 14 free counseling sessions to students, and they are they're very good if you're needing something and you don't have the money or the resources to get out and find a therapist outside of school. The counseling center offers generally bi-weekly counseling sessions that you get in, and you do the session, and you work through your issues, and they are very nice, very accommodating, and if you go if you go to a counselor at the counseling center and you hate them, and you just couldn't stand a single thing that they had to say, that is very normal because you're being vulnerable, and so you're going to react strongly to how the other person is. And so that's where we want to get back to that thing about not every therapist is right for you. You can ask for a different counselor. I literally went up to the front desk and said, "Hey, I don't like my counselor. Can I get a new one?" Like I didn't sugarcoat it, and they just said yeah, and they asked me specifically what I was looking for. So, be very comfortable coming to them with any of your problems. They are a very great resource. The next.
Wait. Quick interruption. They also do group counseling, which I've never been to, but I've heard from people who've been that they had a wonderful time there. They loved it. It was really great. And I think they're probably still allowing signups for those right now because it's a new semester.
Yeah, at least from what I understand, the autism group hasn't even started yet. And so I know that there are a good handful of people from here that are also in the autism group that I'm a part of. And I think that that is a really great resource. You meet some people and you're able to talk through some things that you might not initially feel comfortable with. If anybody else has experience with group.
We'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah. I do second David's opinion. Please come if you feel interested. We need people and we like to talk to you.
Yeah.
Wait, I just jumped in here. What is this about the autism group that I'm just hearing now?
So the counseling center offers group sessions. So even if you don't have your 14 free sessions left, you can always sign up for a group. They often keep them open throughout the semester, and you join, and it's generally you and 4, 5, 6 other people, and then one of the counselors, depending on which group session you're a part of. And one of those counselors will be there to kind of guide the discussion, but it's generally just, at least for the autism group chat, it's just a bunch of people venting about their days and then loosely relating it to autism, and it makes you feel better and it makes you feel safe.
Okay. That makes sense. Because when I was in high school, I was part of a special ed program with other kids on the spectrum. And since I've come here, I've been here for about 3 years now. I've never heard of a group like this. So this is really nice to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad Rowan brought it up because I am in one of those groups and I forgot to mention it. Yeah, I can send in the link at the end. I'm gonna have
Tavi or Tavi.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got beat to the punch.
Has already dropped the link for it and the full list of groups. Doing the most. Thank you.
Good job, Tavi.
Anytime.
Good job, Tavi. All right.
I feel inadequate compared to Tavi.
You should.
We all do. It's okay.
Yeah, Tavi's just kind of the king, and we are all the pawns. Anyway, so that's the counseling center. It has a ton of great resources, and you can find more on their website. So if you click that link, if you go to that QR code, you can click on the link, and there's a bunch of stuff there that can help you. There's also Minds Matter, which is something that's hosted by Texas State. It's a website just with a bunch of various links to different little online therapy things, little websites, things that can help you. And you can find just a bunch of advice and small things that you never really would have thought of on there. After we're kind of done with this presentation, we can kind of scroll through some of these websites so you can see the kind of things that they offer. But Minds Matter just has a lot of bitsy little helpful things if you're not able to commit to a full therapy session. TAO is one of the the online therapy options offered by Texas State. The counseling center is offering Zoom sessions. That's how they're doing their counseling right now, but therapy assistance online is it's like it's one of those online courses like like you might have for your driver's test or something, just one of those automated online courses where you just kind of click through it and it gives you some advice. But I did the stress one a while ago, and it just gives you some good advice, especially if you are in the middle of like a panic attack or something like that, and it's able to kind of calm you down and give you that assistance that you need really quickly, especially if you don't feel like you have anyone that you can reach out to at that moment. And speaking of reaching out, you can always message in our venting chat if you're feeling down. So if you're feeling like you need to talk to someone, we've got a bunch of really great people in here who are very happy to talk through your issues and help you with help you through the stressors in life that might seem little to you but are really big.
Especially since everyone in this chat is in this chat because a lot of us face similar issues.
Yeah.
So especially like out of people that'll get what you're saying, this group will get what you're saying.
Absolutely. So the next thing that I found, I haven't had any experience with it, but if anybody does have experience with this, I would love it if you could talk about it. Bobcat Bond, it's a mentoring service. So this would be underclassmen, freshmen, and sophomores for you to be paired up with essentially like a buddy that is able to guide you through your classes and be a personal mentor to you. I've never gone through this. I haven't heard from anyone who's gone through this, but from the testimonies on their website, it seems like a really good service, and I feel like there are some people who could really benefit from something like this. Has anyone gone through Bobcat Bond?
Nope.
Okay. Well, if you have, you can speak up maybe in the discussions, but we can go on to the next. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is how to find a counselor outside of Texas State, right?
And I also, small note, I think Lettuce dropped a thing in the meetings chat. If you wanted, I think there was the link to this, to the one for San Marcos of this. So continue, please, David.
Yeah. So, there we go. Exterior counseling. Psychology Today is one of the best websites for finding therapists in your area and helping you find someone who fits your insurance, who recognizes the specific issues that you deal with, and who just fits for you. You're able to filter them by area, by distance. You can specify that you want someone who does video chatting only. You can narrow it down by insurance, by the gender of the therapist, the types of therapy that they deal with. So autism, ADHD, any of those, any neurodivergence or mental illness. There are plenty of people, especially in the Austin and San Antonio areas, for finding therapy that you can talk to. You can also filter it by price. If you need a sliding scale, if you are very tight on a budget, there are different people who can fit your very specific needs. And I can walk through in a little bit just how I went through Psychology Today to find my therapist. I've done the process a few times, and I can just kind of show you what I look for, and I can do that in a little bit. But Psychology Today is a great resource. A resource for more emergency counseling and things like that is hillcountry.org. They offer emergency counseling. They offer crisis care. So if you're going through something that is extremely serious and you're not sure if you want to tango with the police, then Hill Country is a good place to call and get advice, and they can offer you their resources, and they do offer emergency counseling. And they also offer some peer groups if you don't find what you're looking for at Texas State. They do offer some peer groups, and I don't know if they're doing them online right now or if they're still doing them in person, but I have heard that the peer connections at Hill Country are something that can be a positive influence.
I would also like to add for the crisis counseling, Texas State also has a crisis counseling service available if that is ever something you need. There's someone always there for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here, if I interrupted you earlier, or if you wanted to talk about literally anything that we mentioned about like your tips and tricks for therapy, or things, questions that you have, or if you want to talk about your experiences with therapists at Texas State or outside, or the group counseling, any of that,
Or if
please.
you have any questions.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Go for it.
It's my experience that Texas State has really great resources for many things. They're just really bad at distributing those resources to everyone.
Yeah, I get that.
I can agree with that. I think one of the biggest problems is advertisement. There's not a lot of room given for advertising of these resources. Are you talking about just people being aware of it, or are you talking about like they prevent people from being able to participate in those resources?
Just people being aware of it.
Yeah, and so that's what we're trying to do is bring awareness to these kind of hidden things that are extremely useful for finding therapy and finding mental health resources. Psychology Today. This is the first website that I kind of want to walk through, and I'm gonna just show you kind of how I went through my own discovery of a therapist. So I typed in my address, so 78666, or my zip code, and that should be most of ours. And then the first thing I did was filter for my insurance. I personally have Blue Cross Blue Shield, but you can filter for your own insurance. I filter for them specifically dealing with autism. So that is one of the first things that I click is that they deal with this. And then anxiety is also a good one, but most everybody lists anxiety as something that they deal with. You can show men, women, non-binary individuals, and all of those.
Show me non-binary, please, please, please. I want to know if there's any.
Yes.
Yes, Marvin.
Marvin, the only therapist I'll use. I love them.
So, so you have all of these options.
Yeah, Marvin.
For therapy, and you have types of therapy if you want to get specific. If you're having specific issues with trauma, with Christianity, I don't think that's what that is, but there are lots of options for you. Make sure that they handle adults, because especially whenever you're dealing with autism, there are a lot of people who only deal with children whenever they talk about autism, right? And so one time I called someone, and about 30 minutes into a phone call discussing like insurance and things like that, I said, "This is for me, by the way," and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't deal with adults." And so make sure you've got that specified. And usually they'll.
That would have been so funny if you didn't have that specified. Showed up.
And I just showed up. Hey, it's me. And then you can also again filter by a sliding scale, or if you need someone who can do it for a lower rate, Generally, I found that the rates are pretty accurate on here to what they actually do, and so you'll see that these are some of the people who are a good match for me. You will most likely have to do a lot of emails to a lot of different therapists, because many of them just aren't taking many people right now because of COVID, and so I recommend if I click email, creating kind of a stock message that you can send to everyone. That's something like, "Hi, this is what I deal with. This is my therapy background. Like if I've gone to therapy before, what I'm diagnosed with, like officially, things that I've tried in the past, like methods that I've tried in the past. Just whatever you think is relevant to talking to your therapist about. Just copy and paste that in here, along with your name and your email and everything like that, and then you can literally go to a lot of these, read through them, see if it's someone you like, and then email them. One thing that I do like to avoid is if you see someone who mentions ABA therapy or anything like that, make sure that the things that they list in their biography, in their bio, is stuff that you think that you believe is ethical and you trust them as someone who is there to advise you.
Yeah, if you don't know what ABA therapy is,
I was literally about to
you gotta come in 2 weeks to find out.
Yeah.
We'll discuss the ethics.
And so, and even then, you can filter by. I think they do have like, make sure that they are comfortable with LGBT, trans people, things like that, and you can check that off. It might be here, or it might be.
Yeah, I saw the check mark for transgender.
Is there a way I can filter for only homophobic therapist?
I think it would be the reverse of this. Yeah. But,
Okay, thank you.
But then,
Oh, good lord.
yeah, then you can find therapists that you need, and it does. And watch out for
The
this.
Franco looks promising.
These people are providing teletherapy, so they're not necessarily close by. They might, like this one. This guy's in Dallas, but they're all.
Look at that guy.
I love the bow tie. Can you give Christopher DeFranco a message?
Pretty
Wait, hold on.
Oh, good lord.
Hold on.
Kind of dapper, not gonna lie.
He looks like a closeted homosexual who just came back from Catholic camp.
Fantastic.
Dude,
And
what?
I don't know about that. I think Christopher DeFranco looks like the kind of person who I'd like to take out for dinner. Can we send them a message?
Closeted.
Where is he? There it is. Oh, Anna's also
Marvin.
non-binary.
Anna. Yes.
Yes.
Marvin and Anna.
No
The
issues. Let's
Wait,
hold on.
do y'all know Marvin?
Mara? No, not at all.
Look at
Marvin's
all
my
these-
friend.
Marvin is my
I
best
just want to see
friend.
the non-binary people.
all
Yes.
All these do.
Kimber,
All these,
Can we see if I can find my therapist on here? Hold on, let me look.
But yeah, so this is Psychology Today, and this is kind of how you're going to walk through that. The next one I want to talk about real quick is Hill Country. So this is one that is they've got a really great crisis hotline for this area. So if you're ever finding yourself in need of a crisis hotline, I would recommend this one to be the one to call, because the national ones are iffy a lot of the times, and a lot of the local ones don't answer, and they don't answer quickly. Hill Country is really good about answering quickly and being there to help you. You can also, like I said, they've got peer services, so you can call them to kind of gauge like what they do and what they can do for you. But again, most of Hill Country's what Hill Country does is crisis work and like emergency things. So Hill Country is something that you should go to if you are in need of some very urgent and immediate care. So
Can I add? Oh, never mind.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I know I put this in meetings chat, but I'll go ahead and say it out loud because I know some people don't like to read. If you live or have a permanent address in Lockhart, Burnett, Seguin, Cedar Park, Georgetown, Gonzales, and a few other places, I put a link to um, people who will do if you qualify, if you're low income enough, they have like cheaper services where your medication can be free, your therapy can be free. Their crisis services will come out to hospitals for you and help advocate for you. I know any of my inpatient stays were free through them, even if I didn't have insurance. So if any of you guys are low income and live in certain areas, I'd go ahead and check that link out or what he's like showing on screen now.
So Bluebonnet Trails is the one that Tavy put into chat, and it looks like they've got. I've never heard of this, but it looks like they've got a lot of good information. This is the list of locations that they serve to. So it looks like they do go to Round Rock. They so if you're willing to if you're in any of these areas, this would be a good thing to check out.
TV, you do the most. Thank you.
So the next thing that I want to talk about is the counseling center and just how to navigate their website. So the first thing, if you go to the counseling center website, just click on their services tab and you can see their counseling services. So they offer individual counseling, and this is where they have their limit of 15 sessions for free sessions for students. They're 45 to 50 minutes, and they are, I believe, every 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. Just call this number. They're very easy to talk to. Just call them, and you can get yourself set up with a therapy appointment in about probably a week or two ahead of time. I would recommend doing that as soon as you can because they do get packed up during the semester.
Can I add to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I add to that? Make sure you call early in the morning because right now I don't know why they're making us do that, but they're making us call. If you want an appointment, you have to call the day of to get it. So just make sure you call early.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's the day of appointments are for the first appointment. If I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So the very first appointment you have to do a day of, because that appointment is you go in and you talk to one of the people who works there, and basically you just say, hey, here are some of my issues. Here are some of the things I like in a therapist. They'll also say, hey, do you have a preference in gender for your therapist? And then they'll work with you with your schedule to figure out and schedule you with someone that they pick that they think matches well with what you need. And then after that, it's going to be scheduled in advance. But the first time you do it, it is day of. However, if you note that like you've tried to do day of like a couple times, like 2 times, and it hasn't worked, they will just schedule one for you.
Can I add something to you?
Yes.
Okay, Texas State, in addition to their counseling, I have only done, they have the ability to refer you to a different branch of the actual student health center, which is their psychiatric department, where you can talk to more specialized people. I don't know how the billing of that works, and I don't think it's free. I know the first time of them referring me to talk to them was free, but if you have more serious things to talk about, you can you have to get a referral through the student health center, but they can connect you if you like have different personality disorders or anything that is more serious and needs more time and care. Mm-hmm. You can go through the student health center, contact them, say I want a referral, and then they'll do like an initial thing for you.
Absolutely. And another thing that the counseling center offers is they offer community referrals in general. So you can ask them for you can call them and ask them to set up a case management appointment is what it's called, and that means they'll go through with you. They'll walk you through the Psychology Today website to find someone that works for you. They will find local counselors and walk you through all of that. And they'll essentially do a personalized one-on-one meeting with kind of what we're doing here. to find exactly what you need. And so you'll leave there with a handful of phone numbers that are very helpful for you, right? So that's a good place to go to. They also offer group counseling, and you can call here to be added to the list for whatever group you want to join, or you can look at these individual groups themselves. So I'm in the autism spectrum support group, and there are other ones. There's mindfulness, so this is very general, sexuality, grief, and you can read all of these here. LGBT, bipolar, everything like that. They have plenty of groups that you can join to talk about something, and these are very comfortable to go to. Like, you're not gonna go in and they're going to be like, talk to me about your trauma. They're just gonna be like, how was your day? Are you feeling okay? Complain to me, and then they'll try and kind of work through that and give you advice based off of your common connection, whether it be autism or whatever you are there for. So these group counseling sessions are very useful, and it's very helpful to be a part of them if you want to have people to talk to about your like your emotions and your feelings during the day. It is therapeutic. That's what it's counseling. So it's very nice. They also have crisis information. Like, they also have crisis options. They've got hotlines, a national hotline that they recommend. I prefer the Hill Country hotline. They have different little like advice things, and they have resources, and you can call them and you can set up crisis. They have all of these like bluebonnet trails. They've also got other things that you can check out. So I would recommend going to this website and looking through these if you're in need of crisis help. Minds Matter is the other link, and this is more, I guess, not necessarily casual, but more relaxed. So they've got, I say that, and then they've got little suggested apps that you can check out that are helpful for just getting yourself relaxed and calm. They've got resources for students that you can look at, and it just kind of lists all of the different resources that you can find on campus, and it's kind of just it's very generalized information. So it's like, hey, do you want what of these are you dealing with, and you can find the very specific resources that will help you with those, right? They have, because Texas State offers so many things that it's hard for them to advertise them all. So this is a good link to find all of these, right?
I'd like to add like a few final notes here. Especially like it's never like a bad thing to go to therapy. Even if you're like, nothing's like that wrong with me. It's nice to have someone to talk to, especially like being a college student and being in COVID is just a stressful time. So, if you're even like considering it, just go, especially since, these college resources aren't going to be here forever. So use them while they're here because you're already paying for them. Might as well go use them.
Yeah. So, does anybody have anything that they would like to mention in terms of everything that we've talked about today?
I just wanted to ask, are you going to be posting the links for all of this in one of the chats above?
Yes.
Yeah, not only that, sorry to interrupt you. We have David made a link tree for all of this.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
Okay, then I'll let you say it.
I was going to pull it up, actually. So I have a link tree for... where is my link tree? There it is. this is the link tree that we have. It has the counseling center link, Minds Matter, Therapy Assistance Online. It's got the Psychology Today link, and it's also got that Bobcat Bond link. And so we've got all of these links set up for you to get the help you need. And we have that, I believe it is, well, actually, I can't, it's...
I know where it is. It is, I have it, I pinned it in the articles and infos chat. It's also in our Twitter bio and our Instagram bio.
And it is also now in the important information channel at the very top.
So it is everywhere. You cannot escape it.
It is everywhere, and so this set of links are going to be very helpful for you to find a therapist and get yourself mentally healthier.